Given how much time very intelligent individuals now spend in front of screens, television has changed from being perceived as a threat to intellectualism to becoming a new form of literacy. Prestige TV has become both revered and arduous to the typical viewer who used to merely unwind after work with a sitcom, similar to how literary classics like Pride and Prejudice and The Grapes of Wrath can stay years on people's lists without them ever really reading the book. Keeping up with television has almost become a job, with new shows like Squid Game and Mayor of Easttown seemingly dominating the cultural landscape every week. Welcome to the Elite List channel, the one channel for all the best elite lists of facts around the globe. Ready to dive in? Let's go! However, some programs have distinguished themselves from the ever-expanding televisual landscapes through pure artistic merit, originality, or cultural influence, or have merely mastered a traditional form, earning their prized positions in culture in the same way that murals on the Santa Maria del Grazie or athletic contests in the Colosseum have in the past. These programs are what our society is currently focused on and how we see ourselves. Does one have to watch these programs? No. Are these television shows entertaining in addition to being culturally significant and providing a deeper understanding of the human condition? Yes. Let's celebrate the best American television programs ever, which are truly included. Number 10, South Park, 1997 to present. A huge sea of imitative television programs have been impacted by South Park's comedy and style, making it appear a little tame nowadays. This obscures the truth that South Park is actually very significant, amusing and distinctive. Trey Parker and Matt Stone approach South Park as though they're making a news program, scripting and animating each new episode in less than a week to keep current and topical, unlike just much any other scripted show. As demonstrated in the documentary 6 Days to Air, it's a crazy strategy that is incredibly challenging, but the end result is a comedy program that is frequently more timely and culturally aware than any other. Over the course of its quarter century on television, South Park has addressed a wide range of topics and ideas. The show chronicles the misadventures of a perpetually youthful group of boys and their parents in the titular Colorado town. The most contentious South Park episodes serve as a timely reminder that, despite living in a postmodern era, we are still capable of being surprised. Even after all these times, South Park is still provocatively brave, intellectual and brilliant, as well as being very funny, plus there are new specials on Paramount+. Number 9, The Leftovers, 2014 to 2017. The Leftovers, a drama from the great mind of Damon Lindelof that investigated the aftermath of a weird occurrence in which millions of people just vanished one day, is one of the most directly theological and philosophical shows ever produced. The Leftovers is mostly recounted from the viewpoint of a self-destructive couple as they struggle to make their way through evil cults, odd bureaucracy, and spiritual encounters they hardly believe. The Leftovers mixes some of the most beautiful and depressing television content. Despite its relatively brief 3-season existence, it is a surprisingly compelling study on spirituality and faith and has some of the most in-depth emotional character studies in television history. The Leftovers is still a masterwork that deserves to be seen in person. Number 8, Breaking Bad, 2008 to 2013. Breaking Bad had such a profound cultural impact that real-life meth dealers painted their product blue to compete with Vince Gilligan's acclaimed depiction of American enslavement. The show is not only an examination of how classist systems breed crime, but also shows how even the most helpless, pitiful man in the world can turn into a notorious American monster when subjected to the right pressures. It is one of the last cable television programs to truly feel like a huge water cooler moment in American culture. After 5 seasons, Breaking Bad broke studio regulations that you should keep driving until you run out of petrol. Instead, it encouraged other series to push themselves to the limit and to quit when they arrive at their destination. Number 7, MASH, 1972 to 1983. MASH, which started out as a fine but generally rambling Robert Altman movie, literally achieved success unlike any other television program. The Super Bowl, the moon landing, the Nixon's resignation address was seen by more people than any other scripted TV broadcast in history combined. The finale came in second. That's because MASH was unlike any other program at the time. While being a sitcom on the surface, it merged humor with intense drama and enormous sociological impact by leveraging its depiction of the Korean War to mirror the realities of the Vietnam War. a very likable group of medical professionals working in Uijeongbu, South Korea, were the subject of MASH. Despite being popular with viewers from various ideological perspectives, the program was vehemently anti-war and repeatedly acknowledged the horrors done during conflicts, particularly by the American military-industrial complex during the Korean War. MASH has elements of exquisite romance, humorous wit, and intimate character studies scattered throughout the classic medical drama. Number 6. Seinfeld, 1989 to 1998. It's strange that one of the best comedies ever was created to be the complete opposite of sitcoms. The kid doesn't have dimples, the female doesn't give birth, and the guy doesn't get the girl. The behind-the-scenes dictum of Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld's show, which portrayed life in its most Chekhovian abyss, New York, was no hugs, no lessons. Seinfeld is the only program that has ever been able to effortlessly do nothing, not only because it is hilarious, but also because it has become such a mainstay in popular culture. Seinfeld's ability to circle a story and punish its clueless characters still stands out as an accomplishment. Seinfeld, one of the earliest post-modern super-ironic TV shows, is frequently studied for its philosophical concepts. Regardless of how some viewers may have found the finale to be disappointing, Seinfeld is still one of the best shows on television today. Number 5. The Twilight Zone, 1959 to 1964. How can you discuss racism when no one will listen to you? How can you study the atrocities of war when your nation flaunts its claims to world dominance? The Twilight Zone was guerrilla warfare against institutional evil and hypocrisy, in addition to being clever, original, and frequently beautifully designed. It was strange, widely despised, and it kept getting weirder. The Twilight Zone told more than 100 stories, and Rod Serling's sci-fi horror drama morality plays are still relevant more than 50 years later, if the purpose of a good show is to tell a good tale with a strong impact. Number 4. The Simpsons, 1989 to present. Due to its duration and influence on pop culture through commerce, The Simpsons is frequently regarded as a trifle. The truth is that if only seasons 3 to 9 had been produced, the program would not only have made this list, but also likely ranked first. No matter how much you didn't think you'd be blown away by season 4, you are. And you almost become enraged that we haven't been building on this mystery. It's like watching an old Renoir film. How did the show's humor move with such lightning speed? Conan O'Brien, a writer at the time, is partially to blame, but there are other situations when lightning strikes the same place several hundred times before never happening again. Number 3. Twin Peaks, 1990 to 1991. Twin Peaks is David Lynch's masterful meditation on the American ideal, nostalgia, mystery, and television itself. It may have been the first television program to demonstrate that it might be a true art. The series, which stars Kyle MacLachlan as the eponymous Dale Cooper, centers on a peculiar, dream-loving investigator who must make his way through the increasingly surreal town of Twin Peaks, Washington, where a little girl has just been murdered. With the help of deeply symbolic dream sequences, ethereal music, strange non-sequiturs, the soap opera parody Twin Peaks managed to briefly enthrall the nation before anyone realized that David Lynch was in charge of the project. Following the widely contested prequel film Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, Showtime has produced a delightfully perplexing, unapologetically artistic third season of Lynch's series Twin Peaks The Return, demonstrating that it still retains all of its peculiar charm. Number 2. The Sopranos, 1999 to 2007. The Sopranos largely brought about all of these changes. The radical notion of turning almost everyone into an anti-hero, as well as the higher budget production, have gone on to influence 21st century television as a whole. Suddenly, networks and producers weren't scared to take chances on inventive, distinctive, or cynical and violent programming due to The Sopranos' enormous popularity. HBO's confidence in David Chase's vision led to a transformed television environment where art actually had a chance of surviving in the mainstream, all the way up to its contentiously ambiguous ending, which influenced series finales in a completely different approach. The Sopranos is a major influence on every excellent television show, regardless of how antiquated and horribly it has aged. Number 1. The Wire, 2002 to 2008. Throughout its duration, the HBO series was infamously underappreciated and never received the appropriate audience, critical acclaim, or accolades. The Wire gained its success a decade later, however much of this is frequently credited to the variety of its vast ensemble cast and its emphasis on socio-political processes and bureaucracy that the typical American audience was ostensibly disinterested in. The audience realized that they had been skipping through one of the most insightful and well-written examinations of the things that people would do in order to go up a hierarchy. These days, The Wire is often regarded as the greatest television program ever. When something gets that much publicity, it's usually horribly misrepresented. The Wire, with its extensive 5-season run acting as the great American epic that maybe no program has ever topped, is the exception that demonstrates the norm though. Enough content to last you a year. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like and comment below.